Blast off!
Say driver.
Blog Talk Radio.
Yes, yes, yes. This is another episode of Wake Up African People, and this is the Truth Doctor coming to you tonight. And we have eight longtime Garveyites on this show tonight. We are coming to tell you about a travesty that's in our community, the pimping of the name of Marcus Garvey. The night show is called Pimpin in the Name of Marcus Garvey. And we would like to be doing this and airing this out into, the world, but our people must know, because Marcus Garvey was the greatest leader that we ever had. His organization was the greatest organization created by black people in America and throughout the world to bring black people to a consensus of doing for self in unity and love of one another. After the race had been beat down by the white man, tore to pieces by the white man, the black man could not look the white man in the eye. And Marcus Garvey came along, a brave Jamaican man, came here to America to see Booker T. Washington because he believed in Booker T. Washington's philosophy. And he was able in 5 years to build up the UNIA and bring all the governments of the world down on him for making the black man stand up on his feet. Before Marcus Garvey came here to America, the average black man could not even look the white man straight in the eyes. He was looking at his shoes because he was trained that way. But Marcus Garvey was able to build the confidence up into the black man. And once he built the confidence up into the black man, it became the new Negro. And they were proud. And they built an organization that was doing some things, that was doing more than any organization we had to this day. But nowadays, we have Negroes using Marcus Garvey's name, taking monies from our people, forging people's names, stealing properties of the UNIA and selling them to the white man, the so-called leadership, working with the police. And I'm talking about 1929 of the world. Sengora Bay, a.k.a. Alvin Ricks, and his second in command, Achille Nkrumah, a.k.a. Anthony Murphy. He works in Philadelphia for the police. He's a snitch. He's one of the worst Negroes you ever want to know, and right now we are fighting with him for the life of the UNIA in Philadelphia. They come down to the building. We have elders that's in control of the building. They're old people. And they seen one of our elders die, and they seen the other two old ones, and they're trying to railroad their way in to destroy and take our building so they can sell it. They have done it. They have a track record of doing this all across the country, destroying the Garvey movement, destroying black people, period. Black people that come in there that's sincere soon leaves because they see that there's nothing going on but a bunch of treachery, using our people and taking their money and tricking them out because these people are sincere. Imagine how many Marcus Garveys they ran away. Imagine how many Booker T. Washingtons they ran away. Imagine how many Malcolm X's they ran away. Imagine all the young people that came in there that read books about Marcus Garvey and knew that this was it. They ran away because they have no programs. They have fictitious programs. They're out here tricking the people, and we're going to put a stop to this tonight. And the first person that I'm going to bring on is the last legitimate President General of UNIA 1929 of the world, Elder G. Elder G, could you please tell us the story?
Yes, sir. Greetings, brothers. Excuse me. First of all, I want to commend you, Brother Akbar, for a fine presentation, a fine opening. And, Brother, you hit the nail right on the head. Okay? It's time for us to go to work. We have been, as you said, I don't want to repeat anything you said. You said a lot. But I saw this coming down the road for some years. I saw it in the making. And we got some folks up in the UNIA that call themselves Garveyites, ain't nothing but the devil. And I'm telling you, we got to do something. So I welcome any questions you have.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I welcome any questions. Mm-hmm. You know, this is been going down. Let me tell you, I first got a little inclination of what was happening from Division 330 in Washington, D.C. There was some complaints about the third assistant President General, Senghor Baye, who was also the commissioner for District 3, who was tending to micromanage the division. Now, commissioners are set up in the UNIA in order to establish divisions within the state. You have state commissioner and you have a district commissioner. The district commissioner oversees the state commissioners, and the state commissioner's job is to organize and set up divisions and chapters within that state that is assigned to him. Now, and so the commissioners is not to run the divisions, but to oversee and make sure that they are run correctly. Well, there were some problems up in D.C., and then I tried to, at that time I was a second assistant president general. Now, I don't want to take up too much time in explaining all the details about how the UNIA is set up. But there is such a thing as protocol. And when you are given, first of all, one president general, a third assistant president general does not outrank a second or a first or the president general. You fall in rank. It's just like the military or any government official, the government office. You have protocol. Okay, you have seniority. All right, and everyone has a job to do. But the commissioner's job is not to take over. And you know, I was hoping that there would be someone from 330. But I'm trying to make a long story short. Fast forwarding, there was property that was being purchased in D.C., okay? And the property was, you know, I don't know all the details, but I heard that the division was purchasing this property, and they were fixing the building up. And then I heard a complaint from Senghor saying that the property wasn't worth anything, that they should give it up. Well, after the building was repaired and fixed all up and everything, they started meeting that, Senghor had a change of heart. All right? But to make a long story short, again, there was a takeover. There was an attempted takeover to get the deed from the trustees, and it just went downhill. There was so many things that went down in the last 10, 15 years, brother. I just can't even begin. I don't even know where to start. But there are out there, as you said, and I've seen it. Folks have their picture up in front of Mr. Garvey. You can open up any of these guys' letterhead, their pictures on there. They, you know, Boogie F. Garvey's picture's not on that. And I was brought up under some elders, some of the original Garveyites that joined the UNIA when they were children. Some of them were grown men and some of them were children. They said, you never leave Mr. Garvey's name off your letterhead. But these people putting their names up there, putting their faces up there like they are better than Garvey or equal to, that never will be. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. These folks out here selling Garveyism. All these folks talk about the red, black, and green and couldn't tell you the origin of this red, black, and green. They don't know this is red, black, and green. UNIA brought this red, black, and green to the American Negro. We're supposed to be a respectful, honest, uplifted, a generation of black men and women And we are acting. Garvey told us that we did not care. The black Negro is not careful. He will drink the poison of this white man's civilization. We are in setback right now. Setback 100 years because of the foolish acts we commit every day. And the UNIA is our only hope, brother. All these black nationalist organizations, some of them were fronts for the government of the world. I'm talking about the European governments, the colonialists. These same folks that enslaved us 150 years ago still enslaves our minds today. I don't want to talk too much, brother. There's others. I'd like to hear from them, but I need some questions. But I got too many answers.
Well, go ahead and get your ammunition together, because these dudes need to be taken down by the people. People don't need to join the UNIA 1929 of the world. It's fictitious right now. And we're trying to take it back over to make it what Marcus Garvey wanted it to be, an upliftment program for the people, not an upliftment program for the Negroes that's supposed to be in charge and go in their pockets, going on vacations all over the world with UNIA money that's meant for the people. Because according to the UNIA Constitution, all the monies that's taken into the coffers of the UNIA are supposed to be used for the upliftment of the people and the maintenance of the UNIA itself. But the upliftment of the people, if you have a program and it's not uplifting the people, and I'm not even just talking about the UNIA, any Negro out here with a so-called good mouth speaking and talking and everything, and they're not trying to build a program or try to rebuild a program that was successful, run away from them. Find out what they're doing with your money. Just don't give your money. We need to stop this treachery that's going on in the so-called black movement, because there's no movement right now. The only thing that's moving is your money out there, out your pockets, into the pockets of thieves in the temple. We have one from...
Everybody, Charles, on the steps on the black man's neck. Everybody's in our pocket. We are indebted to everyone. And this is the way it has been. It was like that during Garvey's day, and it is even worse today. At least during Garvey's day, during the 20s and 30s and 40s, and some parts of the 50s, we had our own stores. You know what I'm saying? That was a time in America where they would, but the white man, the Native American, and the Negroes enslaved. Those were the people of America. Now you got so many people this country, from all over the world, and they're right up in your community. They take your cleaner, they clean your clothes, they sell you food, they supply you. You cannot eat without going to a foreigner, an alien, or someone other than black. All our food, they taking all your land from you. You run up in the city, brother, this is just too widespread. But we got to focus on these fools upon the parent body. They call themselves Garveyites. That's what we got to concentrate on. Achilles, Single, Mary Bolter, who's a big liar, all of them, they are out to get some money. And there's a legal thing behind it. There's a whole bunch of stuff behind it. It has to do mostly with that land that was supposed to go to the UNIA, that land down in Belize. They thought, because the will stated that Isaiah Morton, he left almost 500 acres of prime land in Belize to the parent body of the UNIA. This was in 1924. Garvey went to prison in 25. He was released in 27 and deported. Okay? Belize at that time was under the colonialship of England. You think them folks are going to get a UNIA that land? All right? But anyway, because of the land was left to the parent body, all of them crooks we got up there decided they're going to be a part of the parent body, and they're going to stay in until they get that land. And they started taking over everything they could.
Yeah, Brother Akbar.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Baba Tunji, President Division 4th in Baltimore. Yeah, greetings to all the people on the discussion tonight. I just have a few things to say because my telephone will cut off in a little while, so I just wanted to get in a few comments to the listening audience. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there's been a change that I don't know if most people are aware of. The name UNIA ACL is now the trademark of the UNIA ACL 1918, because the Trademark and Patent Office, there was a struggle between 1929 and 1918, and Achille, Anthony Murphy, had backed out of a petition that he filed with the Trademark Office, and when he did that, the 1918, the Cleveland UNIA won by default. Now, what that means is that all the divisions in the UNIA ACL that have a charter, if they don't want to be in 1918, they have to turn their charters in and get Singor's charter, which is now the government of UNIA ACL, which is not the same thing as the UNIA ACL. And that's going to be a decision that every division is going to have to make. Those who want to stay with the UNIA ACL would have to, Singor no longer has any authority over them. And let me just say one thing about Singor. Singor was first elected in 2008. That election was illegal. It was illegal because it had been rigged so that parent body could vote, and that was, when I say illegal, I mean unconstitutional. When I was in Philly at that election, I voted 2 times. I really was only supposed to vote 1 time because delegates vote at conventions, not district commissioners, although I was a delegate, but I was only supposed to vote for 1 time. So the results of that election was really illegal. And then in 2012 in Atlanta, the election was illegal because the parent body was stacked against the entire convention. 20 people was on parent body voting when there wasn't even that many people for the whole convention, really. I mean, there was 20 other people besides that, but it was an illegal election. So in reality, Singor was not really the President General of the UNIA ACL 1929, much less anything else. But his criminal activity goes back a long way, because I knew Singor back in the 1990s when he was a mentor, when he was under the thumb of Jackson Bay out of Division 330. It took me a while to figure out his criminal ways, but soon, because people were telling me about Singor all along, but because I really didn't know the brother, I couldn't really make any type of judgment for or against him. It took me time to realize what his criminal behavior consisted of. And so today what you have is a full-blown criminal operation. That's what they are. They're really just criminals. And not only are they selling phony passports and citizenship papers, claiming to be a government with nothing to show people. How you gonna have you be a government and nobody recognize, nobody know that you exist? And the other thing now that you got to be careful that they're going to be involved in, I'm talking about parent body now of 1929, they may be getting ready to get hooked up with marijuana, because I received a flyer from this brother named Haru down in D.C., but it was sent to me by Singor, and it was a conference on what they call medical marijuana. Now, if it had been anybody else, I might have, not paid attention to it, but because it came from Singor, I already see the handwriting on the wall. They're going to be out there pushing marijuana, claiming to be for medical purposes. And this is part of Singor's whole history of schemes and scams that, unfortunately, I was caught up with briefly. And I like to say briefly, I was caught up because I didn't understand what was going on. But Black Star Enterprises, all those other phony companies and so forth that he was a part of, they're not but scams in order to put money in his pocket and now that his one of his comrades, Farouk Muhammad, he's gone. The other one, Zama Cook, they were like a three musketeer type operation.
Exactly.
Scamming, scheming, and Brother G knows what I'm talking about. Violating the Constitution every opportunity they could get, and so. But the important thing for people to realize is that whatever your division is, if you have a charter that's under UNIA ACL, you are no longer under the control of Senghor Baye. He has no authority over you anymore because he's no longer UNIA ACL. He's what that phony government of UNIA ACL. That's what he's head of. So I just want people to know that and to act accordingly. Now, Baltimore, my division, would like to see a convention in August of all those divisions that are chartered to number one, swear allegiance to UNIA ACL, and two, to sever all ties with the so-called government of the UNIA ACL. Because, like I said, sooner or later, their criminal behavior is going to get them locked up where they belong. And Brother Akbar, one of the things that I'm really not understanding is that Akili came in there into the hall with 10 armed men with women and children in that building at the time. I don't understand why charges wasn't pressed against him for that action. I don't understand why they can break into the building, change the locks, and it doesn't seem to be anything being done. So maybe you can address that, enlighten us on what's going on with that.
Well, we have did the proper filing to the authorities on them breaking in our building. I mean, these people are actually breaking into a building that their name is not on because all the UNIA chapters were set up, as far as I know, that the local people own their chapters, not the parent body. I mean, this is how they set it up, so it wouldn't be any of this type of stuff going on. But these guys are so criminal-minded and so dumb, they actually believe that they can get a building that their names are not even on. We have 2 elders that names is on the building. And let me tell you this, these guys got this thing, I call it their fail-safe mechanism, that they would tell you that don't ever talk about UNIA business outside of the UNIA. But that only means our financial business and our plans and all that type of stuff. That don't really mean controversy. Because if you go back, you will find out that Marcus Garvey had to do the same thing 3 times. So what's happening, what we're doing tonight, some of y'all might look at it, oh, y'all Negroes are out and other Negroes. But we have to clean up our own race before we can ever think about going forward, black people. And I have a brother online from 330. And I just want to say that the elders in our place, and we need all the strong brothers that really believe in the UNIA to come down here and help me and 3 more people that's fighting with the elders against these treacherous people. They have been able to come in and manipulate the new people that we have, telling them that they have places in Belize, they got stuff in Africa. They don't have none of these things. And we tried to warn the people, but our people have a history of being hoodwinked with the preachers and the churches and all these different things in our community. We have a history of going for good talkers and speakers that have no substance. And this is what's happening. And a lot of these elders got loyalty to the UNIA, and they think that they're going to destroy the UNIA if they come out on them and talk about them. They're going to break it up. But no, you're going to fix the UNIA by coming out, because every black person in America is a UNIA member according to our Constitution. So you can hear the business. The business is your business, because the UNIA was set up to take care of you. So I have brother from 330 on the line. I'm going to get him in because he has to go after a while. Brother Kamal. Brother Kamal, could you come in and give us your story?
Yeah, appreciate it. And let me correct, that is formerly 330, because I'm no longer affiliated with that nonsense. But I was at one time the second vice president of Division 330 in D.C. I'm now, president of Division 183 of the real UNIA, and not that government, and I mean GUBMENT of the UNIA, which is not in any way legally, morally, ideologically affiliated with the UNIA that Mr. Garvey founded, and it continues to operate today under President General Cleo Miller. But let me say this about, I think somebody mentioned Zama Crook and Alvin and the rest of his chipmunks and the little games that they like playing. But there's so many games internationally that this clown has been playing is ridiculous. I could go from Nigeria in the thousands that he ripped that division off from, the hundreds he ripped off from Canada and Montreal don't want nothing to do with him. Divisions that he's thrown out when they caught him in a lie, stealing money from them, trying to exploit them out of, all kinds of money all across the country. And it seems like the minute he runs that game on somebody and gets caught, he tries to throw all the people out who catches him and then tries to run that game on some new unsuspecting people. And so today it's important that you are doing what you're doing, and those who have seen this great trick, we would be not only dishonest, but we'd do a disservice to our race if we didn't see this snake, this absolute thief, coming to rip everybody off of something and we not tell them about it. It's like seeing a snake on the playground and not warn the children to get off the playground that, you're in that harsh territory. Now, if they decide not to go, then that's on them. But at the very least we have to do as honorable people is point out certain personalities who claim to be great kings of magic kingdoms and Neverland and all these sovereign government crap, and at the same time, want to be this great succeeding president general when they neither president nor general, legally, morally, constitutionally, or otherwise. But my experience personally with Division 330, because, I knew Senghor for a long time, probably known him about 20 years now, traveled the world with him, and on a personal level, I think he's actually quite funny. I think every time he speaks, he makes me laugh. That may not be his intention, but he's a funny guy. He's, person you can kick the bobo with. But as an organizational leader, he is some garbage. And not only is he some garbage, he's a thief, he's dishonest, and he pretends and lies about things that he has no proof whatsoever of. He's letting the world think that he got land in Belize that he has absolutely not 1 square inch of. He don't even own his own home. He's, shacking up with his woman. I mean, this man has nothing. He don't have not 1 inch of sovereign land anywhere. And then even told some people that he was going to buy some land in Belize and make that his sovereign land. How the hell are you going to go to a sovereign nation and then take their land from them and make a sovereign nation? You ain't taking nothing from nobody. Who's that stupid? I mean, can you really – I don't understand how he keeps relieving gullible Negroes out of their surplus cash when there's no proof of him doing anything properly. He doesn't have a receipt for all the thousands and thousands of dollars he stole from the people who are currently members. That's why most of them are not paying dues to him anymore. Nobody trusts him, but nobody's saying nothing about it either. So everybody's just sitting around watching, him fatten frogs for snakes. But somebody has to say something about this. This man is not constitutionally ever been elected. I mean, I wasn't even at the 2008 election. I told him in advance the same kind of trick that he was going to pull, which is, for those who don't know, in the UNIA convention, you have, for UNIA convention election to take place, you have 4 delegates that you elect every 4 years, and their term is 4 years in office. Each division has 4 delegates. Those 4 delegates are the voice of that division, and they represent the division at a convention, just like the Congress represents the people, the House. You don't have no special appointees become delegates. If you appoint some people to your cabinet, can't make his cabinet a congressman. A cabinet member is just an advisor. That's your person. You don't put them in and give them a special election power. But when the convention comes, all offices are vacated during the sitting of convention. That becomes the governing body of the UNIA. And somehow every year for election, right when he's about to get taken out of office, he finds some way to appoint 1 million people to different offices. Anybody he can find, cousin, uncle, whatever, he'll make them a commissioner or something, and then try to get them a special power to vote for him in office so he can get back in office and steal whatever else he can get his hands on. And people have seen it time and time again, and I don't know how he keeps getting away with it, but I'm not around anymore, so I don't, it's not so much I can say about it. But there's so many incidents of forging signatures, of making up these little fake groups that like the Legal Defense Fund and all this little silly stuff. Not a penny of it ever went to this UNIA that he's talking about. And the UNIA he's talking about is not even legally authorized to collect any money. I mean, in more ways than one. I mean, this group is not authentic. And just recently, like I think Baba Tunja mentioned, they had went to court. Anthony Murphy, you all spoke of earlier, went to court against us to challenge our right to exclusively use the name UNIA. And after he realized he was cornered and that they had no chance of winning, they decided to quietly concede and withdraw their claim and any future right to come and contest it later. They bowed out quietly, didn't tell you about it, didn't tell everybody else about it, but quietly started changing the name and started throwing these little fake bastardized names onto the UNIA to make it seem like they were doing the same thing, continuously deceiving the people out of more money. And it's ridiculous. I mean, this is just one of probably thousands of episodes, names, and places I can point out. And this drug thing is really going to be suspect because everybody in D.C. know about single and this drug habit of his. But I won't elaborate too much on that one unless he makes me, along with some other things that I'll hold off at this point because not personally necessary, I don't think, at this time. But there's a whole lot of things that I could point out about him, including his cross-dressing ways. But I'm not going to elaborate on those at this time. I'll wait till he makes me call him out. Then I'll take further actions then. But this guy is corrupt to the core. Nobody who has any sense should be stupid enough to want to join into that kind of sinking ship. It's going nowhere. You can't follow a parked car. I'm sorry. And if you want to join it, that's on you. I got a bridge in Brooklyn I can sell you if you want to join that garbage. But it has absolutely, morally, legally, constitutionally nothing to do with Marcus Garvey and the UNIA. If you want something to do with Garvey and the UNIA, you will not find any trace of it there, I assure you, with every ounce of my being. And obviously, as we can see by this phone call tonight, that's the same sentiment all over the country. And I can pretty much assure you all over the world for people who run into this clown and this little criminal operation that's invoking Garvey's name to cover up their nonsense. But anyway, that would be my quick contribution.
Yes. Well, my brother, I'm going to mention it. They said that he jumped out of a hotel window because he was smoking PCP, and somebody had told the people that was working at the hotel, and they came and smelled it around the door and called the police, and he had to jump out the window. This guy is really the lowest of low. So I want to bring on Brother Cimarron because he's been sitting back real patiently, and I want to hear his story. Brother Cimarron, the mic is yours.
Yes, sir. I was probably one of the later divisions to come into the association, and I became a member in 2002, and we established our division in 2003, Division 459, the Turner Tubman Division. And it's interesting because in joining the association, of course, we didn't know as much as many others, knew. We were the only division in North Carolina. And, my introduction was somewhat tainted by what I was saying. I can't really speak to some of the things that, Brother G and Baba Tunji were able to speak to because, they've been long life members of the association, and our division only existed from 2003 to 2005. I came under the administration of Marcus Garvey, Jr., and the election that was held, I believe it was 2004, is when I was really introduced to what was taking place, and that came by way of Redmond Battle, and I think that's where everything started to really shake up. I think that was one of the names that was not mentioned. Prior to that situation, there was a lot of sideline things going on, and I think that was probably the beginning of the end. I'm just now starting to hear about, this whole, government the Universal Negro Improvement Association, which is new to me and interesting because, as I think Brother Morima pointed out, all of this is some make-believe stuff, and I think that those who do continue to have divisions that are up and running, need to be clear and really need to go through their constitution so that they have a better understanding, a keen understanding of what the association, was set up for and what it was supposed to do and what it is, what it's supposed to continue to do. So, it's just a very interesting situation. I hate the fact that, people are being fleeced. 2005, we dissolved our division and formed the African Diaspora Nationalist Society and Pan-African Cooperative Market. We felt that Mr. Garvey's name needed to be included in our organization so that it would resonate with the people, and that's why we formed the Marcus Garvey Society, which we received the blessings from Dr. Julius Garvey to proceed and move forward. And so those who are still within the fold of what is going on now, either they need to do one or two things. Either they need to, and I think as Baba Tunji was saying, hold a convention, and determine what they intend on doing, but they need to do it from an intelligent standpoint. And then two, if they are not able to do that, they need to fall in rank with an organization that's doing Garvey work. So, I mean, that's pretty much, all that I can pretty much bring to the table. But, by 2005, we had dissolved our division because of some of the things that we were seeing. And, again, like I say, I honestly believe that it started, under the administration of Redmond Battle.
Brother Cimarron, can you elaborate on what you have been able to do using Garvey's philosophy since you left the fictitious group, the UNIA 1929 of the world under Singora Bae and Achille Nkrumah, a.k.a. Anthony Murphy, Police Watch, Anthony Murphy, head of Police Watch in Philly, watching black people for the white popos. And he's a preacher. I mean, this guy's everything. He's a chameleon. I mean, he's a preacher on Sunday, then he leaves the church and tries to come to the UNIA. Well, actually, he never, until this elder died, that was holding our building down, Elder Gossett. And Elder Gossett held these buildings away from them fools for the longest. They could have never got it then. They wanted to control the building and get themselves in so they can try to get on the trustee board. Once you can get on the trusteeship, then you are in control of the building. And this is how they wanted to try to get in and manipulate it. But they didn't know that a brother Akbar that loved Garvey that was going to be there. I'm proud. I'm newer than anybody in here in Garvey. I've been studying Garvey for 3 years, and the worst thing they could have ever did was let me get to a book. Once I read Garvey, I knew something was wrong. And that's what happens to everybody who goes to their organization. Once they start reading Garvey, because they try to keep the stuff really away from you. They don't encourage you to read no books or nothing. You just go in there, hear a speech of somebody else's ideals of what's going on, and it'd be some really wild stuff I've heard. But once I got away and started reading Garvey, Brother Bartley, he's on here tonight. Me and Brother Bartley was doing some heavy studying together. We were sharing books, sharing ideals, looking up stuff, and then Brother Cimarron and Brother Kamal. When I started seeing that, well, this is not happening. None of these things are happening. The money that they had and took in could have built something to hire some of our people. It could have done something to help some of our people. These fools took over $30,000, went down to Belize, jet ski and everything, doing it up, spending up all the money, and the UNIA tour was broke. And then they came back and start fleecing the donations. You give them the donations to the division, and they're supposed to get 30% of the donations, being the parent body, but you never see them doing anything. This is not how Garvey done. Now I want to let Brother Cimarron tell us what he was able to do, leaving and using the philosophies of Garvey. Let us know.
One of the very first things that we did, and in fact, prior to us dissolving, the division, my wife and I, we had started an independent school, and out of that, through the ADN SPCM, what we started doing was we started feeding the people in the community. So, we started serving up hot meals for the community, free groceries, free clothes. The meals were free as well. We started an after-school program, which we currently, run and operate now, which is called SLAM, stands for Science, Literacy, Art, and Math. We run intercession camp for our young people. Just 2 weeks ago, we just had an expulsion clinic. Some people say expungement. But this is where we had attorneys come and speak with our people in the community in regards to what they can expunge off of their records if they have any, criminal activity that may exist on their record. In fact, we were able to not just do it here in Durham, North Carolina, but also in conjunction with Division number 183 of the UNIA ACL 1918. That took place in the D.C. area. We, working with the black farmers, and, many of our members are capable of, getting fresh produce from those black farmers. The list goes on in terms of the work and the activity that we do, and we do it in the name of Mr. Garvey. I think it was President G, had mentioned earlier about making sure that on letterhead that you keep Mr. Garvey's name, and not only do we have his name on our letterhead, but we also have his image on our letterhead, so that people are clear of the work is about and what it is that we're doing. So we have a real good relationship with those who are in our community, and just so much that that we work towards and strive towards. Even this upcoming month, we have a program in conjunction with the FTP movement and African Liberation Movement, the Alpha Gun Club, and a few others, and that's the reconstruction of black leadership. And so, we keep Mr. Garvey at the helm. We keep him in the forefront so that, again, like I say, people are clear that the philosophy and opinions is a living document. It's not something that, you just read through and, you cheer on and become a fan of. This is something that you live on a daily basis. So 2 weeks from now, the camp will be going on. We have our Liberty Hall, which we call New Community Development Center. It's open to our community. We put on different workshops, lectures, all sorts of different things. We have rentals for people who are in the community who need an actual space, to display their talents and gifts and what it is that they do or know best. So, it's quite a bit. Quite extensive. We have a juvenile division, which we call our youth division. We've re-implemented the Universal African Legion, as well as the Black Cross Society, and, which we push Miss Henrietta Vinton Davis's name because she's the founder of the Black Cross Nurses in 1920 in May, right there in Philadelphia. So, there's quite a bit that goes on with our organization. So that's why I say, those who are true Garveyites must continue to do the work despite what may be going on inside of the so-called government of the UNIA. If they truly are Garveyites, they know how to withdraw themselves and put something into practice, whether you call it by, Mr. Garvey's name or under another name. You have to do the work. You have to be committed to it. Miss Estelle James, I remember her saying, and this is right before she passed, she said, you may be in the UNIA, but it's the UNIA in you. So although I'm not a card-carrying member, I'm still a UNIA member because the UNIA remains inside of me. So, with that said, the people just have to continue to push.
And you're black, brother. Long as you're black, you're a member of the UNIA. Yes, but this faction is not the UNIA no more. They turned into a criminal organization. The members, now let me just run this by. The members at the local divisions are still UNIA members because that's what they pledge allegiance to. They may not be UNIA members on paper right now because these people lost the case. But deep in their hearts, they want to do the work of Garvey, and a lot of them is misled by these people because, you know, they come in with a good talk and make-believe, like the brother said, all this make-believe stuff, and the people kind of feel it because our people want change. There's actually people out here that really want change and want to work with an organization. And you've seen what this brother is younger than us, and you've seen what he's able to do with his wife and everything and his people around him in North Carolina. Imagine if he could have stayed in the association and associated with more people and done this thing on a larger scale. Now, this is what these people have been able to do because their criminal ways is runaway good people. That could have been, you know, he's still doing things for the people, but it could have been on a higher level with more people involved because UNIA is supposed to be a people who associate together for one aim, you know, and one destiny, and one God, which we know that one God thing is just, you know, it's part of our ritual because everybody believes in different religions and stuff nowadays. But back then, the majority of black people in America, probably 99% of them, were Christians. And that's what we want to say. Now, I have a long-time member of the division that I joined in Philadelphia, 121, Brother Bartley. I'm going to bring him on. Then I'm going to bring Brother Ka, who's an expert on this Anthony Murphy thing because he's from Philly and he knows him from years of his activity in the streets in the town of Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia. Brother Bartley, can you give us your story?
Yes, sir.
The mic is yours.
I'm glad to be on the program with such illustrious brothers. And on this groundbreaking blog talk radio show, I first became aware of Mr. Garvey when I joined the Nation of Islam. I realized from my reading that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad actually was a follower of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. After I left the Nation of Islam, because the messenger died in 1975, I became a member of the Republic of New Africa, which I also became aware that Queen Mother Moore, who was an avid Garveyite, was one of the leaders and founders of the Republic of New Africa. With that being said, I, here in Philadelphia, became one of the president of the local division here in Philadelphia of the Republic of New Africa. In being the president here in the city of Philadelphia, I sought to unite the UNIA ACL with the brothers here in Philadelphia from the Republic of New Africa. In doing so, I met Brother Battles, who I had known for quite some time, him, Calvin Robinson, and Dr. Ed Robinson. Excuse me. We had, I brought a couple of brothers through there, and we had some reparation conferences and meetings there at the UNIA. Now, what really turned me off about the whole scene was that every time you came to a meeting of the UNIA, it was a bunch of arguments, fussing, and everybody with these ego problems. So I left the UNIA, and I continued doing my work with the Republic of New Africa. I felt that though the work that I was doing was actually the work of Mr. Garvey, that the work that Mr. Garvey would approve of. We had at the UNIA, I helped to institute the building fund, which they didn't implement right away. So when I came back the second time, they had a plaque up there with my name on it and quite a few other brothers. Now, that plaque, in order for you to have your name on that plaque, you had to give up something like $500 to $1,000. Okay? So I looked up and I saw my name. I said, wow, that should have been done maybe 9 to 10 years ago. You see, so it was fraudulent stuff going on, so I never really stayed around. When I met Brother Akbar, I came back because I had produced a Marcus Garvey coin, and I wanted to present the coin to the body of people that was there. In fact, I gave out a couple of the brass, the copper Marcus Garvey coin. To make a long story short, being in there with Brother Akbar, he can tell you the problems that we went through to keep order in the UNIA, in the division 121. It was off the chain, the things that were going on. There was no outside. I think that a president of any organization or a so-called president general is supposed to have some input into how these chapters are ran. But no one came there. We didn't hear from them until it was time to start talking money. Then everybody came with their hands out, telling them we need to do this and we need to do that. Being in the UNIA, all I saw was trips. All they would have was trips. And at the meetings was nothing but arguments, ego clashes, and etc. So with the straw that broke the camel's back, I think that I'll leave Brother Akbar to tell you about that. But when I left this time, I said, I'm not going back. So that's my story. Well, Brother Bartley found out that the UNIA didn't have a back door to get out because unless it was a fire or something. And it was explained to me by Elder Gossett when they put the building back together. The city, they looked at it and they let them go by having 2 front doors. So that's how it was explained to me. But Brother Bartley is an old-time brother, and he don't go nowhere where ain't no escape route, you know. So that's the problem that Brother Bartley had. Other than that was the fictitious building fund. And this is one thing you got to know. The Singora Bae has a fictitious building fund for our building in Philly, and he lives in Washington, D.C. And from the fictitious building fund, nothing had never been done to the building. And the people who started the fund are dead now. So, you know, all that money that the people gave for the fixing of the building never happened. And, you know, I mean, we have to tell the truth, you know, about what's going on. And we came into UNIA. Me and Brother Bartley around the same. He came in when I came in. I came 3 years ago. He came back. So we started to support the president that was there, that was picked by Singora Bae, because he threw the other president out because he didn't vote for him or something. He stood up to him or something went on. Anybody that stands up to this guy, he throws him out. He even tried to throw me out, but he can't throw me out because I'm a big crazy Negro, and he had to physically throw me out. He's not capable of doing that. So what happened is I never respected him. From the day one I came in, I started hearing negative things about this guy. And then I think that in the divisions, this is what created all the confusion, because it was people in the divisions that wanted to leave this guy. It was people in divisions, elder people, that knew about this guy but always thought that if they outed him, that the UNIA would be destroyed, so they kept silent. But I think they kept silent too long, even though we do have elders on here tonight that's airing out. And I know they're going to feel good when they go to sleep tonight. They're going to sleep better. They're going to think better because this out public. You know, because this has been a long time coming. But you should understand. Now, we're not really blaming the elders because, like, when you join a church or a mosque or something like that, it's easy to get hung up in the politics and stuff, and easy to get caught up in the love of Marcus Garvey and say, I don't want to destroy this. And I just... But this has come to the point that where we are the last building standing in Philly for the UNIA. And these fools are trying to get the building. Singora Bae came down
to our building about a month ago, and he's self-appointed. It doesn't go that way. The division is supposed to appoint their presidents. And then the president general is supposed to just sign off. And historically, all they used to do is just sign off. They didn't get into division politics, because they had too much, they should have too much stuff going on in the parent body not to even know or think about what's going on in the divisions politics unless the division calls them, the president of the division or the leaders or the elders or the trustees call them to bring them in. So what's happening is we have an elder in the division, 2 left, one that doesn't want nothing to do with them because of their criminal activity. And then we have one who's wavering when his wavering has gotten us into this stuff that we're into now. But, he's fighting that hard. But he had nostalgia in his heart. Oh, it's nostalgia, and we can't destroy the UNIA. And I kept trying to say, there's no UNIA no more. Not here. Not this one. This is not the UNIA. It's something else. It morphed into a criminal organization, just like the Nation of Islam did with Malcolm feared, that it morphed into a criminal organization. But this is nothing on the caliber of the Nation of Islam because they had real thugs and gangsters. This guy just has a geriatric crew of people that goes around lying to black people, and that he's more of a con man than a strong army. So he cons the people. I don't know how he does it because he never could con me because I'm just an analytical type brother that thinks and looks into everything. So the Elder Gossett, brother who died recently, I love him. I understand why he was fighting so hard, and then it morphed into everybody was trying to get the building. Anybody that walked in there had potential trying to get the building to take over. This is the attitude he developed from fighting this Achille and Krumah guy for so long in Senghor Baye trying to take over our building. First, they tried to make it the international headquarters so they have ownership in the building, but their name is known nothing. Right now, we're going through a crazy fight where we have to go to the white police, and this is something that we really never like to do. But if not, somebody black is going to get killed. All over trying to raise and uplift black people. Could you imagine this? That we are trying to make Marcus Garvey ideals a reality, but we're fighting against the people who's supposed to be governing over this institution. 1929 of the world UNIA, not the UNIA Incorporated, because they're a different organization because they split up. But the only one now that has the legal name, legality to hold the name is the 1918 UNIA Incorporated. This one here is fictitious. And imagine, I've been in here over 3 years to find this out, that you've been duped all this time. And you're thinking, we're going to do Garveyism, and Garveyism is going to save black people. I mean, when you just read Marcus Garvey, there's no other leader that you could think of that's done the things that he done for our black people. He was the first, could have been the first multi-millionaire black man in America with the money he took in for black people. But yet he went and bought the ships, the factories, the stores, and all these things we had for the upliftment of black people because he was sincere. But these guys we got today, they're not sincere. And you need, when you hear this radio show and you hear these names and you go look on the UNIA website that has Senghor Baye on there, you will see they're selling, like the brother said, passports. I mean, I don't know why the government hasn't came down on them yet. They're selling citizenship into the UNIA, but everybody who's black is a citizen of the UNIA no matter what. So this is a travesty. Now, we have a brother, Sahu, online. I just brought him out. Brother Sahu, you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And we want you to talk of Anthony Murphy guy and the years you went back with him and the experiences and what's going on with him and the police watch and all this stuff he's doing in Philly.
Okay, first I want to give praise to our Creator for this show and for you, Brother Akbar, and for all your distinguished guests. Brother Elder G, Brother Kamal, and Tucci, and it's great to it's great to be here with but listen, Murphy is I met him in 1980, Town Watch Integrated, and he was supposed to help us overcome a drug cartel family that took over a certain part of Philadelphia. And he wound up working with them, you know. He knew them already, you know. And so I watched his movements from there. I said, wow, you know. And he was just a street agent then in 1980. And then he turned out to be the commissioner of the thing. And he's a master, he's a master mason. See, he has the opportunity to get his voice out there through the Town Watch Integrated, and they all pump each other up. So that's where he has a voice and we don't, and he's able to manipulate because he's supposed to be the savior, but he's not. He doesn't use his office for what it's supposed to be. He's involved with a lot of open air drug cartel families that's doing gentrification in the city. It's a whole bunch of stuff. This guy is he's worse than an injured snake. He'll bite anybody, you know what I mean? And I don't want to spend too much time on that, but yeah, we need to look at all of the players. Is Senghor a Freemason? If any of the elders can answer that question. Is this brother Senghor, is he a Freemason? Because it's obviously that the enemy do not want this type of activity going on. They'll spend millions of dollars to keep this organization down because this is the solution. So it shouldn't surprise us too much, but I'm glad we do have connected all the dots and we can hold these guys accountable, maybe with some future meetings on how we can actually put our heads together and go after them instead of doing it the way we're doing it now, because they can be held accountable. And I never got into Garveyism book. I didn't touch none of his books, but the parts that I did read, I knew that was the place. And when I felt what happened, I've been trying to get in there for over 20 years. and like Brother Art Bark, yeah.
Tell the people
like
what happened.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. Like you said, I ran into opposition. They didn't want nothing, man. They was running everybody out of there. And I was saying, well, I'm not there to do that. I'm here to help. I'm not trying to do nothing. I just want to run a little class to see if it would see the opinions of the people who are deep thinkers and into Garveyism. You can't ask for no better crowd. But they threw me out of there, man, and I knew something was wrong because that wasn't Garveyism, the part that I read. And it was just totally inhuman. I said, man, look at this crap, man. It's all. And Murphy showed up a couple times down there. I said, oh, I knew we was sunk in, man, right there. I said, that's it. But, yeah, so we got to come together. It's our move. And I hope together with the body that we have now, I'm quite sure we can come up with something, a solution. And
we're going to be successful, brother. This is just a prelude. We have to let people know what's going on before we take our actions. We are working on actions to get rid of this guy. And this is one of the ways to out, the criminals. When you out the criminals and you put the criminals in the public light, that enlightens people so they tricked by it. And this is the most powerful thing we can do, because they can go to jail, get back out, and start over again. And nobody ain't saying nothing. They're saying something. And this is everybody on this panel tonight should be commended. I mean, because we have to protect the legacy of Marcus Garvey. When you're a Garveyite, that is one of your first commandment, as far as Brother Akbar is concerned, is protecting the legacy of Marcus Garvey, one of our great leaders. The white people protect the legacy of their leaders. They protect the legacy, I'm saying, of their great leaders. We have to protect the legacy of our great leaders, no matter if you agree with them or you don't agree with them. So these guys, they are stealing, they are pillaging, they are now trying to take our building over. We have changed the locks on our building at least 5 times in the last 2 months. We change the locks, they break in and rechange the locks. The police come, even when they catch them there, the police don't arrest them. So I'm thinking that Anthony Murphy works with the police department.
That's right.
So I'm thinking he has the police working not to protect us and protect property that's owned by the UNIA ACL Division 121, which is entrusted in 2 elders that's still alive, but they're older brothers, but they're still alive. And once they seen the other elder go down, you can see their fangs came out, brother. They immediately, we were not even able to do the elder's funeral after the funeral African ritual that they do sometimes for some of the elders after 40 days. Came in our division with guns. You know, I invited you out the week after, and you seen some of the stuff yourself. You know, they came into our division. Achille and Nkrumah was ordered by Senghor Baye to bring town watch officials of the city of Philadelphia into our division and terrorize the people that was in there. And we even believe that the members were so frightened that they went with the ones that had guns and abandoned the older people because they thought that the ones that had guns that had authority, something just like these chicks out here today, some of them, not all of them, that like thugs over a decent guy. You know, they'd rather run to the thug because they think the thug can protect them. But these people don't know that they're actually running into the arms of the devils themselves. Senghor Baye and Achille Nkrumah, a.k.a. Anthony Murphy, weekend preacher, weekend revolutionary, and everyday police informant in the city of Philadelphia. So this has to get out. This video, this show is going to do well because we're going to circulate it through all the social networks. We're going to put it on YouTube, and we're going to get it out to the people. And I have over 50,000 people that follow me between my Facebook and my television radio show. So what's going on is we are taking the people back from these criminals if they listen to us. And we have Brother Babatunde on here. I want to get him and Brother G back again so we can get some of this time wasted because we got 2 hours, but I don't know if we're going to make it there. But Brother Babatunde, could you please let us know more information if you have it? Brother Babatunde, you still with us? He might have left. Brother G, are you still with us?
Oh, yes, I am, brother.
Go ahead and give us, Brother Babatunde's phone might have went. He said his phone was low. So go ahead and give us more information on their criminal activities, the forging of your name and all that stuff, and Elder Gossett who died and all that stuff.
All right. Like I said, I have so much stuff, man, that I can share with you, brother. You know, but I'll try to stay focused. As Babatunde said, that election was actually rigged, and the reason that one reason, besides the Belize situation, that they wanted to get rid of me, get me out of the way, was because I have found out about as was stated, the criminal enterprise. Okay? After, when Mr. Battle passed in December 2007, in January I had to go to Philadelphia to be confirmed by the Executive Council. And while I was there, I was instated as the a presiding president general. And this was a very sensitive time because I could feel the negative energy. And Senghor, he just hated. He hated that he was not in that position. No one expected Mr. Battle to pass. But Elder Gossett, Johnny Gossett, had told me sometime before how Senghor and Farouk Muhammad was calling Mr. Battle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day with issues. And they got on Battle's nerves so bad, Gossett said, gee, they killed Mr. Battle. You know what I'm saying? They worried the man to death. And he passed in December. Well, after my confirmation in January, one of the last things, as I was walking out, the meeting was closing, I walked out. Senghor and Zama Cook were sitting in the vehicle outside the building, 121. And I walked out, and Senghor called me over to the car, sitting in the passenger seat. He said, Wadham, I want to thank you. I said, for what? He said, for fucking up our business. And that was because the first thing I did was to reinstate the charter for Division 330. Division 330 charter had been revoked by Senghor because of some issues with the president, Brandon Green, and Farouk Muhammad. All of this, the president of Division 330 at that time was Brandon Green. And Farouk and Senghor were trying desperately to take over that building. They were trying to get the building. And when I read, and because they couldn't make that move, they revoked the charter. And once they revoked the charter, they were able to go in and make a move, so they thought. But what I did was reinstated the charter for them as the President General. Well, Senghor felt that I had really messed up their little game plan, and he told me, this is war, brother. This is war. He told me that to his face. So I knew from then I was in for it. All right, and there were so many lies told. The rigging of the election with the parent body members voting when they were not delegates. Oh, it was a big thing, brother. Farouk Muhammad, at 5 minutes before election, okay, Farouk Muhammad handed me his resignation papers as Consul General. And I said, what is this for? He said, I asked him, why were you resigning? He said, well, I'm no good to you now. And I thought about it. He resigned only because he knew there was going to be some illegal activities going on, and he was not duly obligated to stand in my defense. All right. So I saw all this scheming going down. Well, they finally got me out. Senghor, I wouldn't run for President General, but I didn't want Senghor in. And I had to run against him. Okay? But it didn't work. So they got their little day in court. They got their little happy day. And from then it's been downhill. Okay? This brother, Brother Akbar, one of the first things they did when they put the Garvey's voice out, Senghor and Zama, they took control of the Garvey's voice. They took control of the website, shut it down. I reinstated it. I got the website back up for her. We had lost so many good members. One was our web queen, Sister Tyree. She was right there. Did all the work for the UNIA on our website. And these brothers tried to shut down everything positive. Senghor, his photograph, his image, was in one Garvey's voice 29 times. 29 times. Mm. Mr. Garvey's photo was only in there maybe 3 times. Now, I'm just wondering how many pictures of Senghor does Zama Cook have in his bedroom? You know what I'm saying? Why would this man put 29 pictures of this boy in the paper?
Well,
it's just,
somebody.
It's a sad day, brother. It really is. It's a sad day. And I am so ashamed. I'm so embarrassed. And I don't know what to say for our ancestors. All the work they did, all they sweat and their tears. And it comes down to some fools running the UNIA like this. Nothing, liars, thieves. I mean, what is it coming to? And, of course, you got these 800? Yeah, like Anthony Murphy. And there's some more out there, too. I've seen them over the years come through the UNIA. And we have to be very careful. We have too much of an open rank membership. Anybody can join.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can join, if you're a Negro. But you got some folks out here that will pass for Negro. If you never see them, they'll mail their application in. We have to be very careful, brother. And but there's so much on our plate. We just have to take our time. And I'm glad to hear about Brother Cimarron and what he's doing. This is work that we should have been doing all along. Why? Not. Why haven't we done this? We didn't help anybody for doing that in New Orleans, doing that hurricane. We didn't help anybody in Haiti. Where's our Black Cross nurses? The UNIA had a Black Cross nurse organization in Costa Rica, Belize. Why aren't they with us? What happened to all that property that the UNIA had? The UNIA never paid taxes on it. We lost land in Toronto. That hadn't been too long ago. And the Philadelphia, I think, is the only division that has property. And they're trying to take that away. Well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That land belongs to the Division 121. Not the parent body. Mm-hmm. It's our international headquarters simply because at that time it became the headquarters because Mr. Harvey was alive. He lived there. He was the President General. And the parent body would have executive council meetings there. We need a place for our archives, a place for our records. Not the local library or some ex-president, division president's home. Everybody come in, grab our stuff, and run off with it. We need stuff on microfilm, CDs, hard copies, any way we can get it. Keep our own records, our own history together. Okay? We need our own Library of Congress. We need our own Library of the UNIA. We need our teaching institution. The headquarters is simply that, a headquarters. Mm-hmm. It don't mean you own the building. Obama doesn't own the White House. He just living there. Mm-hmm. Right? This is the way we got to go, brother. We have so much to do, and we call ourselves constitutional. We have to make sure that we follow the Constitution. And all this, you pick what you want and change what you don't. This is the way it's been going. And these guys, man, they know how to manipulate and lie, but everybody's not fooled by their actions. You are not, and I am not. Cimarron is not. We've had a whole lot of people just walk away, and they'll never come back. So we have to clean our house. We really do.
And that's exactly what we're working on tonight. That's why I brought you on, because you were a president general of that faction, and you know exactly what's going on, and you legitimize this show that we have tonight going on. And, it's a shame that these people exist, that parasites, that suck in the blood of our people's hard-earned money, that's giving their money in the hopes that the organization can do something to better the black people's race. And these guys...
Brother Agbo, I've been a member of the UNIA for almost 45 years.
Whoa!
You know what I'm saying? I hadn't made all conventions. But I did have a job before I was retired. You know what I'm saying? I have family too. Sometimes I need gas money, you know. But I mean, I've been right there for the UNIA. I have never ever taken a dime for the UNIA. Only one time have I received any money for the UNIA, and that was reimbursement for a President General during convention time. My hotel bill was paid. That was it. Never any cash in my pocket. I've always given. You know what I'm saying? I've given artwork and a whole lot of time. Okay? And you know, brother, look, you gotta have Garveyism in you. It's gotta be in you. You gotta be in tune with your ancestors' call for you know, to listen. To be someone while you got a breath in your body. Do something significant. Do something that that you know will make somebody a day better for somebody. And we've got to do that. We have lost too much. We passed up too many opportunities. And for 8 years of a fool to be in office and call himself the President General, it's just, I mean, I just can't get my mind wrapped around that. I cannot do it. And I mean, I can, but you know, I don't want to blast the brother in no negative way. I don't want it to be personal, but I mean, there's got to be something. And that brother,
Well, first of all, every brother ain't a brother. And he's definitely not a brother. He definitely can't claim that he never took money from the UNIA and misappropriated it. He can't claim his claim to fame is destroying the UNIA. And we are 100 years old.
How can this man sit up here and call me up and tell me I put your name down on the papers for incorporating in New York? I said, you did?
No,
I said, okay. All right. And I said, okay. So that was that. The next thing I know, I get a call from Brother Cleo Miller in Cleveland, Ohio, and tells me that I was wrong for signing those papers, those court papers, the incorporation papers. I said, I have not signed any papers, brother. He said, well, your name is on the papers. I'm looking at them. So I went to my computer, downloaded the file, the email, and here was a copy of incorporation papers for UNIA 1918 and filed in New York. And I looked at my signature. I looked at a signature with my name on it. I hadn't even seen the papers. I didn't even know nothing about it. That was Farouk and Senghor's More handiwork. They forwarded my signature on some court papers, federal papers. Okay? And they forwarded Johnny Gossip's name. Okay? Johnny wouldn't say anything because he was afraid that he didn't want the UNIA's business out in the street. Senghor and Zama Cook, one of the first things they did was put in the Garvey's voice publicly denouncing Mormai, Brother Kingsley, and Brother Ahmed. But all they would call them renegades and all of this kind of, like you said, like what you said, if they don't like what you're doing, they're going to get rid of you. Simple as that. And then tell everybody don't talk to you. Okay? Those brothers, Mormai, Kingsley, and Ahmed got expelled. Stephen Golden got expelled. Brother Umar got expelled. All because, Umar Johnson got expelled. Senghor, that was Senghor, and Senghor manipulated Mr. Battle. He really did. Okay? And I told him, I didn't vote for the expulsion. That's why another reason they went after me. Umar bucked against it. I bucked against the expulsion, and Brother Tutu out of New York. Okay? they put Stephen Golden on the chopping block. They got him out. And what happened, I said, well, because Sengo was calling up everybody saying how bad the actors these brothers were and how they was messing up and so forth. He was calling up everybody. And everybody thought it was a terrible thing that these brothers did. I said, wait a minute. You just don't expel nobody without hearing. I want to hear what they got to say. So I didn't vote for it. And that's when they went after me. I mean, I'm telling you. And so they got their day in court, and they finally got me out. They won the election. Okay, they cheated. They stole the election. That's what it was. And I said, well, I'm not going to fight it because I don't want people to think that I'm taking, trying to get even. A fighting is because I want to be President General. That was not the case. I didn't want Sengo to be President General. Okay, that's why I didn't buck up. Okay, look, like I said, brother, I've been in the UNIA a long time. I'm not lacking for any rank. I'm not looking for any rank. I've been from the bottom, just an ordinary member, up to the top rank.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I've been, and I ain't bragging, but the opportunity was there. And Brother Thomas, my teacher, my mentor, told me, you do whatever you can to help the UNIA grow. If somebody call on you, you volunteer for it. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Do your work. Stop sitting around and spending your time watching TV. Do your work. And that's what I've been trying to do, brother. Now I'm getting tired. I got a lot of, I ain't gave up, but I'm not going, when I'm bent over backwards, by myself. And all I need is some help. If I had you around here a few years ago, it'd have been a whole different story, whole different ball game, Akbar.
I was Black Panther Party then, and the new Black Panther Party. And I remember I used to come over down to Detroit to y'all meetings and stuff, and that's how I met the brother. I mean, I fell in love with him back in the day. It was a lot of older brothers and stuff, but I really think that the parent body, being that they lost their way. They lost their way because money was staring them in the eyes. Because from what I heard, Marcus Garvey Jr. left the UNIA in a pretty good way with money when he left. But these people were able to take all the money and go on vacations to Toronto, go on vacations.
I bank. We had several bank accounts. Okay, our main bank account, we had over $30,000 in it. Okay, we had over $30,000 in it. I got some of the bank records. See, that's what they don't know. When I was up in, at least I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I had to wrote down some of this stuff. Because Mae Ferguson, she the one that pulled my coattail and told me to watch these brothers. She said, Mae Ferguson told me, she said, that Garvey's voice is breaking us. It's breaking us. Every time they turned around, Senghor and Zama wanted some money. Okay? So I signed 2 checks when I was in Philadelphia and left them for Mae. I said, Mae, these checks are to pay the bills when they ever do. Whatever do. You know what I'm saying? Rather than you send me a check, I got to go way over to Philly to sign a check, or you mail it to me. I said, no, I'm going to leave these 2 in your, in your care. All right. Well, those checks was available. That was fatness falls for the state because Senghor got a hold of that checkbook, and he wrote out a $3,000 check to himself. Then he turned around and claimed that he loaned the UNIA $10,000. I got the mail. That's in a minute. Mary Bolton stood up, and she had spent $800 on some phony constitutions to be printed up. They were so full of mistakes, errors, omissions, and everything else, we couldn't even use them. All right? And he said, well, who's going to pay for these? And Mary said, what I paid, we got on her about that. She said, I paid for these out of my pocket. They didn't come to you, and I didn't pay for that. Well, she didn't tell anybody that she was reimbursed with that $800 too. Battle gave her a check for $800 to pay for those constitutions. Couldn't even use them. They were down in North Carolina trying to sell some doggone tickets. I mean, we're playing the number policy. That's what it amounted to, raffle tickets, that kind of stuff. That ain't no way for the UNIA to operate.
Nope.
And
the UNIA is...
Up here, have you ever seen a calendar that starts off in July instead of January? We could have the year going. Half the year was going. You can only use the calendar for 6 months. What kind of mess is that?
Boy, those guys are really treacherous, man.
Oh, I got a whole. Look here. I got the papers right here. I was going through it earlier before I called. Baruch Muhammad got borrowed $15,000 from this brother in D.C. And then not only that, they were also soliciting monies from the members and the folks around D.C., some who were not members, in exchange for some land down in Belize. They were so sure they were going to get that land. They borrowed $6,000 from one brother. They borrowed $15,000 from another brother. All right, that's what I know. That's the record I got to know. There's other folks up there that Senghor and borrowed money from Senghor and Baruch had borrowed money from to get to Belize. And then they come up with this phony lie. There's a sister down there named Nzinga. They had brought her up to Detroit. I don't know how she found why she got in the mix, but she came up. She was supposed to be a commissioner or something down in, not a UNIA, but a city council person or something down in Belize. She came up here. They introduced me to her as the great granddaughter of Isaiah Morton. In other words, trying to legitimize the sister. I said, what? Now, and after the election, the sister walked up and started crying her heart out, telling me that she's sorry. So she knew she was lying and all that shit was phony. Excuse my language. I'm gonna tell you, man, this is so crazy. I can't talk too much, brother, because I start throwing some F-bombs and stuff around here, and I don't want to do that on public radio.
Please do, brother. The people need to know.
It's indictments should be coming down for these people. I mean, there's no other way. They got to be indicted.
Only indictment these brothers understand is a good butt kicking.
And Senghor Baye, according to some of my sources, D.C. had heart surgery not too long ago.
He always wanted that hard stuff.
That's another con.
Well, I mean, let me shut my mouth. I mean, don't get me started now. I told you, don't.
Come on, brother. Come on with it, brother. Come on with it.
And he got the nerve enough. The man's such a big liar. Okay. Now, on some of the old letterhead, when he first got in, he had a letterhead with all these folks' name on it, right? And at the bottom of the letterhead, he had Marcus Garvey Jr. as a special representative. Have you seen the letterhead with that name on it? Look for it if you can. On some of the fan-body letterhead from Senghor, Marcus Garvey Jr., special representative. Well, Mrs. Jean Garvey found out about that, and it didn't come from me. I haven't talked with her. She found out and told Senghor that if he didn't take Garvey Jr.'s name off that letterhead, she was going to sue him. So now, Senghor was sitting up here. He had to change his letterhead because he had members thinking that Marcus Garvey Jr. was a part of the decision-making as a special representative. Garvey Jr. can't stand Senghor. Okay? Garvey Jr. cannot stand Senghor. Told him in a public meeting one time, shut up and sit down. That boy talks so much, foams at the mouth sometimes.
Yeah, I seen him foam at the time he talked. Every time I seen him,
that's the drugs he be taking. He got to be on something.
Well, they claim he's on TV. That wet stuff, right?
But man, not only that, the Marcus Garvey thing, that was he putting the man down there without his permission. Put the man's name down there without his permission. Garvey don't have nothing to do with Senghor, in which he wasn't around. Okay, now, so that was 2009. Brother Lawrence X and I set up for Dr. Julius Garvey to be as a guest speaker for the convention in Detroit that we had set up. All right, so the convention, the banquet was a good success because they had a lot of folks there at the banquet that wanted to hear Dr. Julius Garvey speak, but Julius Garvey didn't show up. And the reason he didn't show up, people were told that Julius Garvey, Dr. Julius Garvey, his plane flight was delayed. Now, I've been flying a lot. I've flown a lot. Because my plane was delayed don't mean that I ain't going to never get home. So, I mean, was there another flight? That was the only flight? No. Julius Garvey found out who was the President General and didn't want to have nothing to do with this guy. Didn't want to have anything to do with Senghor. That's why he didn't show up.
And these are the sons of Marcus Garvey you're talking about.
The sons of Marcus Garvey.
And also, you talked about Steve Golden. Steve Golden used to have the division in New York, and he is the son of the ex-president of Jamaica. And what happened?
The prime minister. Yeah.
The ex-prime of Jamaica.
Bruce Golden.
And you should see, and you should see what they're doing in Jamaica after they got away from Senghor. I mean, it's beautiful. And when they had the anniversary of Marcus Garvey there, they did not invite Senghor's faction because they know that it's illegal, but they invited the UNIA Incorporated to come there. So he's not even invited to Marcus Garvey's birthplace because of his criminal activities here in America, because Golden, the son of the prime minister, was also hoodwinked by this guy. So this guy has done more damage.
I got some stuff to run you about Steve Golden. I don't know how much time we have.
We have time.
Okay. It was during the elections, I think it was 2005. We had the elections in D.C. We were supposed to have them in D.C. And Senghor had called me and told me, he said, well, gee, we want to put Mr. Redmond Battle in as President General, and we're going to have Alfred Tutu out of New York to run for First Assistant President General. You run for Second Assistant President General. I'm going to be Third President General, and Randy Pierre out of Montreal will be the fourth. He said, I've called everybody, and everybody agrees with it, except you're the last one. What do you think? I said, well, if everybody else agrees with it, I'll go along with it. Okay? But little did I know, he was calling everybody else, telling them the same thing. Okay? That they were the last one he talked with, and everybody else agreed with it. All right, so I said, okay. Well, during the elections, Tutu's group in New York decided to push him for President General. So when the nomination came for Tutu raised his hand, run for President General against Mr. Battle, but he lost the election. All right. So now Battle, he's got an attitude for Tutu, okay? And so that kind of went on by. Meanwhile, Mr. Battle hears about this sister in Jamaica that's operating a UNIA division, but not making any reports to the parent body. And he sends Stephen Golden down to Jamaica to find out what was going on. Steve goes down to Jamaica, which he's from anyway. He goes to Jamaica and found out this sister was operating the UNIA, collecting dues down there, but sending no reports or no money to the parent body. So Stephen comes back, makes his report, puts together a letter to send to the lady, tell her to stop her activities or either report to the parent body. Well, Mr. Battle gets attitude and tells Stephen to say, well, look, you don't write no letter for me, blah, 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 then what do you... So anyway, he tells him, don't send the letter. Well, the letter was sent anyway. Stephen said he didn't send the letter, that it's one of the secretaries that sent the letter. But Stephen didn't send the letter. All right, so now Stephen is up for insubordination. Then goes Pimpin. Now, Battle is out to get Stephen Golden and Tutu. Well, Tutu stands up for Stephen Golden, and then the next thing I know, Senghor persuades Battle to revoke the charter for New York. Okay, and Stephen he pleads his guilt and says, I didn't do it. Just give me my lashes, let me lick my wounds. He said, but don't put me out of the UNIA. The boy got expelled. You're supposed to suspend somebody first. Expulsion is your second offense, not your first. Well, what happened? When Tutu stood up for Stephen Golden, he got fired. The whole division got shut down. All right. Stephen goes to Jamaica, and, he's trying to get back in. And there was some other stuff that went down even after that, or in between. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because there was so much stuff going on all the time. All the time. It wasn't one division, it was another. Senghor made his rounds to get rid of everybody he could that stood up against him. And he was pretty much successful. They got rid of Umar. Umar called Mr. Battle a liar, and he got expelled, and Battle lied. See, Battle was trying to be the president of the division and the president general, and Umar wanted to be the president of the division 121. Battle told me, he said, you couldn't do it. He said, Carl, I'm the president. I automatically get it. But it's not true. And Umar called him a liar, and he got and Umar got expelled. Man, I'm telling you. Stephen Golden had brought a video. The New York division came to convention in North Carolina and showed a videotape of their activity. And I thought it was wonderful. I thought that those brothers and sisters of New York had it going on and were doing the work of Garveyism. And I encouraged them, and I was so sure that I could help influence Mr. Battle to give them their charter back. I mean, I stood up, man, I almost got my head chopped off. Didn't go walking around with a little small tape recorder trying to listen in on people's conversation. The brother, man, I'm telling you, I got so much stuff. I was around him too many times, too long, too many years to not see some of the stuff he was doing. But it wasn't anything I could do. He was too slick. He was slick, but he's not slick enough. The Stephen Golden, I know they're doing good work down in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I know it.
Yeah. Just like brother Cimarron is doing good work down in Raleigh, North Carolina. These people are true Garveyites that was ran away. They tried to run me.
He's in Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, Durham. Sorry, he's Durham, North Carolina. Yeah, so
he made me want to come down there to North Carolina, move to North Carolina now.
Come on, Brother G. Come on.
I told my brother down there, too. And the brother even got the Legionnaires going on back there. Sangora got rid of the Legionnaires.
Yeah.
He got rid
now,
of the Legionnaires.
I know we're having a lot of dialogue, and I don't mean to dominate the conversation, but we gonna have to stay focused on what we're gonna do about this situation. Now, I'm ready to do something. Now, I don't want to lose the name UNIA. I got to be part of the UNIA. Now, I'm going to figure out how we're going to do this.
Well, myself, I'm trying to let the people know what they are, and I am a member of the UNIA the UNIA Incorporated, but I just haven't got around to sending my papers in because I've been fighting these people down here to save our division, and also my paperwork joining Brother Cimarron's group down there. I've been fighting this fight. I mean, you can imagine I've been into physical battles, about this division. I mean, when they're talking about out here fighting for black people, I've actually been doing it, brother, physically and mentally and spiritually. And these guys here are some thieves, but I think that they have ran their gauntlet, and it's at the end because they have ran into the wrong guy. You know my history, Elder G, with that Malik Shabazz guy down there in Detroit. I had to go up against him, because he was crooking a criminal, So, we have so many crooks and criminals out here that smile in your face and give you a good speech and everything, but we actually have not had a real black movement since Malcolm died, and before Malcolm, it was some in between, Carlos Cooks and all them, and all the way back to Garvey was a real serious movement that actually seen things being done. That's why they came after them. I mean, they wasn't begging the white man to go to their schools or go to their stores or that. They were building their own stuff, and this is what black people were doing. And now they came into our division. When they came into our division with this madness, we had 65 people with standing room only, and they came in there with the guns and all that stuff. And by the time, since we've been fighting them, our division has dwindled down to about 15, 20 people. And they did one thing that's in the Constitution. You are not supposed to interrupt the harmony of a division just to come and take it over because they don't have anything going on. We were taking in 300, 400 on Sundays. I mean, we were taking in good money that we can use to help the people and help pay for the building so the people can use the access to the building because a Unity Hall is like the city hall for black people. They're supposed to be able to access the building and come in. We had computers. We had, space for them to come in and do their meetings and all that into a place that was created by and maintained by black people. The building in Philadelphia has a historical marker on it. It's been there since 1952. We've ran into this type of situation in the past, but I wasn't there, but I've read the court papers where families try to come in and try to take over the division. I mean, we done been through this fight so many times. These guys are not going to win here in Philadelphia because Brother Akbar has resolve, and they're going to have to take me out. So if anything happens to Brother Akbar and y'all find that I've been killed on the streets and all that, I don't hang out with regular black people unless I'm out there giving them some knowledge and trying to teach and spread a good word. All I do is black activism, back and forth to the UNIA, trying to get their programs going and everything. So if something happens to happen to me, let it be known these guys are behind it because they hate my guts because I'm standing between them and a $1.5 million building they're trying to get from us to sell to Temple University or anybody else that would take it off their hands so they can use the money for their own self, not the people. So this is what I'm telling you. Philadelphia, if anybody in the city of Philadelphia hears this, the UNIA needs you to help us to protect our building. It's not our building, the people that's there. It's the whole Philadelphia black community building. And this Anthony Murphy that works for the police, a.k.a. Nkili Nkrumah, that's his so-called black name when he want to act black. He's a preacher on Sunday preaching the gospel of white supremacy, white Jesus or black Jesus, no matter if you're teaching that stuff with an image or not, it's the white man's bullshit, And the thing is this guy is so low. I went to him in his face. I said, man, let's sit down and talk. This guy's supposed to be a preacher looked me and said, motherfucker, get out my face. I was like, damn, Mr. Minister talking like that. But these dudes greed. They just do anything for money. And we all know in our black community what the preachers have done. They are the biggest of the criminals in the black community. First of all, according to Brother Akbar, because they done took so much money, billions of dollars out of the black community, and we can't see nothing growing, industry, nothing. And these young black people, we cannot let them keep on going into these Pandora boxes of so-called black messianic leaders is going to lead you nowhere. Only thing these Negroes are leading is your money into their pockets. That's it. No programs. If nobody has a program or trying to get a program going or trying to get a group of people together to get a program going and you don't know where the money's going, you don't know what they're doing with it, don't even join. Check them out first. Do the history. Don't walk in because you hear the name Marcus Garvey or you hear the name Malcolm X or you hear the name Booker T. Washington or you hear the name Denmark Vesey or you hear the name Harriet Tubman or you hear the name of Henrietta Vinton Davis or you hear the name of Madame Demito, all these great people. Check, because people are pimping in the name of our dead ancestors. Our great dead ancestors. Even Brother Gossett, who died, couldn't stand these guys, none of them. He fought them. He had to take the floor off out of the building to keep them out the building. He had to take the floor up. When you walk in the door and look down, you're looking in the basement to keep these people out. According to the elder, one of my elders, I'm not going to call his name because he didn't give me the permission to call his name, that Achille Nkrumah been trying to steal this building or manipulate his way into this building since the 1970s. And he's still at it. He's a gray-haired police informant that works for Town Watch. You know anybody who's associated with the criminal police that's killing all our people around here. I'm not saying that every last police is a killer, but once you put that uniform on, you are just like the Ku Klux Klan when it comes to black people, because you are here to police and abuse, and we see it. I'm not making this up. You see it. You see the black bodies dropping from the police. The police pull up on the little 12-year-old boy with a water gun. He's dead. So we know this guy works with the police, interrupting our business, and we're saying, well, if he came in here and focused on Baltimore, what's going on, and Ferguson, what was going on, and we were focused on that stuff. We were trying to talk about it and trying to get our people mobilized that they're going to go down there or whatever they're going to do to help the people of Ferguson and Baltimore when it came up. They're fighting us over a building trying to get money to put in their pockets. And history tells that they're thieves. And I was told by Elder Gossett, if something happened to him, that these guys were coming after the building. Because he knew Elder Richard had a stroke. He knew that the other elder was an older guy. So soon as the funeral was out, this guy started saying that nobody, the parent body owns the building. And I'm like, what? That's not what I know. Elder Gossett told me different. But see, Elder Gossett knew I was a strong dude, because most of the dudes, they was able to run away from me. They didn't run me away. I was down there every single day for 3 years reading Garvey books, learning what I can learn from Garvey, from Elder Gossett. So one day he said to me, now I still don't believe him, said, you done surpassed me. But I don't believe him. He had too much history in Garvey for me to surpass Elder Gossett. So the thing is he told me they're coming after the building, because they came after the building so many times. And this man, as an old man, was able to hold these thieves off because he wasn't a punk. He was a brave old man. And I miss him, and I understand the stuff that he was doing now. Even though it might have went to a point of where it was overkill for everybody that walk in there. But this is what they drove him to. This dude Achille and Sangora and all the rest of this so-called parent body, another sister to be on the watch out for. Sister Basima. She lives here in Philadelphia. Big, tall, dark-skinned sister claiming that she's the Black Cross, head of the Black Cross nurses, and she's the only Black Cross nurse. They're shamming. All these people are criminals. And if you're backing these people that's criminals, you're just as big as a criminal as they are. And I'm not going to sit here and let the new black people go behind me be mistreated and abused by these people. And we have 90 seconds left. Brother Bartley, would you like to say anything else before we
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate the brothers bringing this knowledge to the program. And now everything is in the open. So all we have to do now is come together and map out a strategy. Number one, we definitely need a security force. See, and that's one of the reasons why I had some reservations about a back door. Any place you go that don't have a back door, that's not an organization. That's something else. You see what I'm saying? So we have to think security now, and we have to think organization. The UNIA is the only organization that can straighten out some of the ills in the black community. We need to come together and start doing that, unless we're just going to go out of existence. That's all I have to say.
And I want to also thank all the brothers who came here tonight. They were very brave. Not that they're in fear of this guy, but to come out and talk about this stuff. Because, see, you know, try to keep things confidential, but sometimes confidentiality can destroy you. The people have to know. And I've been here, I mean, I can't even touch the time that the brother's been here. I've been here for 3 years, 2, to really get deep into what's going on. And once I seen it was a criminal organization, I wanted to change it. So I immediately started asking the elder, why don't we just disassociate from these criminals? But he did not want to destroy. In his mind, it would destroy the UNIA, and I still think he was wrong. Even though, you know, I disagree with him, I still love him. Because our elder, he's gone, and I don't want to say anything negative about him because he's down in the ground or in the Ogun with their ancestors. And but they're using this man's name in vain while he's dead. This is how treacherous they are. They're saying he said this and he said that. And if he said this and said that, we would know what he said. So this is, you know, it's many more things I can tell you. So we're going to have another show on this because this information got to go out. We're going to have a part 2. I'm going to put it together. You know, the truth doctor got to get the truth out to the people. And we thank you for listening tonight, all those who listened tonight and all those who will be listening to this in the future. Download it into your phone, share it with your friends. Put this all over the airways. These people must be taken down from slandering and using and pimping in the name of Marcus Garvey. Good night.